You're listening to the Beyond Mommy Dearest podcast, where we talk about growing up with narcissistic moms, how it shapes your nervous system, your relationships, and your sense of self, and how to heal without shame. I'm your host, Nolani Pearl Hernandez.
This episode is sponsored by the Happy Cannabis, body products designed to help you on your healing journey by supporting your nervous system with every application.
Have you ever wondered if you'll ever fully trust yourself again after narcissistic abuse? In today's episode, I'm joined by Coach Denalee as we explore what real healing looks like, from rebuilding self-trust and regulating your nervous system to creating safety within yourself. If you're ready to move beyond survival and truly reclaim your life, this conversation is for you. Okay. Denalee, thank you so much for being here with me today. Besides our off the camera talk about your amazing rocking hair, we also got to know each other a little bit, and I don't record those portions because a lot of times we talk about really vulnerable stuff. Although we share a lot of the vulnerable stuff when we do the podcast, some of the stuff just really helps us get that connection. And so I appreciate you. I appreciate everything you're doing to help heal the world. So thank you so much for being here.
I'm happy to be here. Thank you for finding me and for inviting me.
Yeah, definitely. What first led you into the work of supporting survivors of narcissistic abuse and this betrayal trauma?
Well, I think that there is, if there is anybody on this earth who has not been in any kind of abusive relationship at all, I would be surprised, right?
Yeah.
And as it's come to light, what is abuse, what isn't abuse, what are mistakes and what's intentional, or what is self-serving. Like, as that's come to light, I'm like, we all need healing, and we all something that can help us with forward motion. So I kind of fell into the business itself, and then started my own coaching business. I was coaching for another company as a contractor for a while.
Okay.
And then I was like, I have my own personal belief system and my own personal experience that I bring in a system with that's that I have to navigate how I coach according to somebody else's value, which makes sense in a company. I found it better if I go off on my own and do it the way that feels instinctively right to me. So I started my own business, which is Holistic Recovery, and it's been great. I've been able to tap into individuals, what they express that they need and they desire. And then I feel like I have been able to full on coach them in a way that feels authentic and true to me.
Yeah. One of the things that I think is really important when people are out there looking for a coach, whether it is an executive coach or a coach where it's narcissistic abuse recovery, is finding someone who really meshes with you.
Yeah.
Like therapists, you don't have to take the first one. Like, you can shop around to see who works best. And, we were just talking about this earlier, and I often say it that there is a charcuterie board of healing. And what might work for the first 6 months might not work for the next 6 months. And so you can move around and feel what fits best. And I really like the fact that you started somewhere and then went off on your own, because I think there's an epidemic in the US about cookie cutter being everything. If I can make a cookie cutter a verb.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's the this is your problem, then this is the answer. And I just don't believe that.
No, it doesn't work like that. I used to, when we did a lot of education work, I used to, bang on the drum about that, because not every education system works similarly for people. We see that, now with the IDEA Act, with disabilities, some disabilities need something, that same disability might need something else where somebody might not need it. So I believe that, and in my experience, that healing is on a spectrum, and you hop on wherever it fits best, and then you heal. And, because of that, I think that the work that I've seen you do on Instagram, and we will make sure to put your website and your Instagram and whatever other social media you have in the show notes. Can you tell me if there was like a specific moment where you realized that healing needed to be approached more holistically, not just mentally or emotionally, but in a whole of a human?
Sure. Yeah. What happens to us in life is one thing, and everybody has stuff happen to them. What we do with it, we do most effectively with our whole selves, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it does, what happens to us generally will affect us emotionally, physically. Whatever affects us emotionally
Mm-hmm.
also affects us physically,
Mm-hmm.
spiritually, socially,
Mm-hmm.
like in every way. And if we want to really, if we truly want to heal and not live as a victim, right?
Mm-hmm.
Whether that's
Mm-hmm.
at work or in a relationship
Mm-hmm.
or
Mm-hmm.
or in the neighborhood, if we truly want to heal, we need to use our whole selves to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
we need to do it intentionally with purpose and, tenaciously with resolve to keep
Mm-hmm.
trying, even when one thing doesn't work. We still
Mm-hmm.
use that whole part of ourselves, this part, this part, this part. So we use our whole selves in getting to, the end of where we want to be, which actually there never is an end. It's a journey. We
Mm-hmm.
continue to progress and become.
Well, and I think that's really important because when my husband and I also own a consulting company that works with nonprofits and executives, we do strategic planning and executive coaching. But one of the things that like elevates us apart from others is it's not just one thing. We want to know what your traumas are. We want to know your experience in your family so that we can help you in that holistic way create what leadership looks like for you,
Yeah, I love that.
because it's not like severance. We just talked about that. It's not like severance. We don't download our personal brain, put it aside. It never comes into our work brain. I mean, in severance they start to think about their personal lives. That is the
Yeah.
whole idea in regards to severance. It's where humans don't work like that. And even like I got a little paper cut. It was my son's birthday this week, and I got a paper cut wrapping his gifts. I don't know how, but I did. And then the next day, I was like cutting citrus fruit, and I was like,
Oh,
ouch,
no.
oh
Yeah.
shoot, right? And who would think that a tiny little paper cut might affect your cooking? But it
And it
does.
does.
So everything affects everything, and I think that's really the gist of it. Many survivors really struggle when they start to work on trusting themselves after years of like gaslighting or the manipulation. I know personally for me, after 18 years of, or probably 17 years of this narcissistic abuse for my mom, I still have challenges trusting myself. And so how do you really help people reconnect with their intuition? And I point to my stomach because that's where my intuition sits, and the perception of what really is reality.
So that's interesting. That's a great question. It requires some real strong discipline. So we have, like we were talking about, there are parts of ourselves. We're made up of many different parts, and we have got to pull out of, in order to trust again, we've got to pull out of that gut, that
Mm-hmm.
even that heart, and look at things more from a bird's eye view and ask ourselves these questions. So in trusting myself, as far as, oh, I want to reach out to this person, but what are they going to think? Or what we say, what are my intentions?
Mm-hmm.
And what are my expectations? Right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if we can relieve or alleviate
Mm-hmm.
expectations, get rid of expectations, because we can't control anything other than, ourselves, right? We all know that.
Mm-hmm.
So if my intention is pure, and I'm taking all of the information that I have about whoever I'm interacting with or whatever choice I'm making,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and doing it logically with pure intention, whatever the result is, it's just going to be. So we trust ourselves that, no matter how much I second guess myself or doubt myself
Mm-hmm.
or,
Mm-hmm.
lean on somebody else, the result is still going to be whatever it's going to be.
Right.
My lack of trust is not going to make it be anything else.
Right.
So
Right.
when we can release that, it's an acceptance and just saying, I'm not going to get everything right, but my
Mm-hmm.
intentions are pure. Therefore, I can trust
Yes.
myself.
I love the I'm not going to get everything right, because I think that for a lot of narcissistic survivors, that's, the talk in their head from whoever the abuser was is, you're an idiot. You're not going to get
Yep,
this right. You're not going to get everything right.
you're not.
It's not humanly possible. And it's that intention part is
Yeah.
what that intention is good. Now, if the intention is not good, or if the impact of what you do, if it's a relationship wise, then that's a conversation to really kind of reflect in yourself to say, okay, my intention, I thought it was good, but maybe it wasn't. So let me reflect on that. Okay, based on that now, of course I was going to get that impact in whatever conversation it was. You know, we talk a lot about nervous systems, and just the utter exhaustion. I think that there is a lot, just life is lifing right now.
Yeah.
And so, what do you see that are some signs of someone's nervous system that they're still living in that survival mode, even after the relationship, whatever that narcissistic relationship has ended?
Yeah, okay. So I feel like this is several questions in one, and I'll tell you why.
Yes.
We are made up of, we're made up of a lot of things, basically water, salt, and energy.
Hmm.
That's
Hmm. Hmm.
life, right? And when our energy is disrupted, our bodies feel different. Our bodies feel unsettled, sometimes sick, sometimes, incapable of taking care of doing what it's
Hmm.
done,
Hmm.
housing our spirits, our souls, right?
Hmm.
And so when we are off kilter in that way and looking at it again holistically, then we can know, okay, there's more work on my end to do. And it has nothing to do with the other person changing. And it actually doesn't even have anything to do with the other person getting out of your life or you removing yourselves from them.
Hmm.
Does it
Hmm.
help? Yes. Removal from abuse? Yes. We need the boundaries, we need that
Hmm.
protection.
Hmm. Hmm.
Absolutely. But we're never going to be free from every abuser.
Hmm.
Anybody we interact with is a
Hmm.
potential abuser.
Hmm.
If they're self-serving and they want to control us, that fits
Hmm.
that
Hmm.
category, right? And so our goal is to strengthen ourselves. So if I'm dysregulated in any
Hmm.
way, my
Hmm.
job is to re-regulate. And that can be
Yes.
even years beyond,
Yes. Yes.
yeah,
Yes. Yes. I
yeah.
think, one thing that's really important is that people, you know, and I don't know if you experience this, but people you work with, a lot of the narcissistic abuse survivors that I've dealt with are like, how long is this healing going to take? And I'm like, so it's not linear. It's going to
Yeah.
take some time and you're never going to be healed. And I often use my experiences so that they can see, because, I'm super resolute. Now we talked about, in regards to like healing relationships, I'm like no contact. My mom was crazy abusive, like abusive, medically abusive, psychologically abusive. There was a lot of stuff. And I know for me, in the family that I have built over the last 12 years with my amazing husband, that she would come in and ruin that in less than 30 days.
Yeah,
So
you
for
gotta
me,
protect that. Mhm.
right, I'm going to protect that with my life. And that means that I'm no contact with her. I think, though, for a lot of people, maybe they're low contact,
Yeah.
or they're no contact. They want to be contact. They want to resolve
Yeah.
that. And that's what I say, is that is fine if that's what they want to do. Totally fine. They know their body. They know all these things. What I always say is, if you know that you are going to deal with someone who is high conflict, who is a narcissist, if you're going to watch a show that has a lot of narcissism, give yourself a couple hours to recover from that,
Yeah.
because
Yeah,
it,
it does
because
suck
it
your energy.
triggers.
Hmm.
Right. It
Yeah.
triggers. Like my husband and I were just having a conversation. I don't remember exactly what it was about. I remember the feeling. But there's this really cute meme that I have on my Instagram of this dad giving this little girl a hug, and he's like, I want, and she's crying. She's learning how to swim. She's crying, and he's like, okay, let's say your affirmations. I'm brave. I'm beautiful. I'm brilliant. And she's crying, and that is my husband to a T, with me and our three daughters and our son. That is who he is. So we were having a discussion, and I can't remember exactly what it was about, but he said something, and I said, holy shit, I haven't talked to my mom in about 11 years. Holy shit, she put that in my brain. Oh my
Mm.
God, why am I doing this?
Yeah.
Why am I, whatever it was? And I started crying. Some of it was because of perimenopause, but most of it was because I was dealing with this specific
Yeah.
feeling. And he said, it's okay. You acknowledge this. It's
Mhm.
okay. and now you move on. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's how you heal.
Yeah.
Um, I had an interview yesterday or on Wednesday with Mark Vicente, and we talked about love being the healer of
Mhm.
narcissistic abuse. And not love from the narcissistic abuser, because fuck them, but
Not gonna
love
get
from
it.
someone else, right? You're never gonna get it, but love from someone else. Love that is that unconditional, um, real seeing love. And it could be a love from a child, love from another parent. If you are lucky, you have one narcissistic parent and one healthy parent, or love from a partner. Like for me, it was my husband's love, because unfortunately, my poor dad had a mother wound and was just, ran over. So, and that's his thing to deal with. But that love heals all.
Yeah, that's
And I think that's a really important thing. You know, you talk a lot about safety, and love is a part of that safety. But
yeah.
why is feeling safe in your body such a critical part to healing?
Well, it actually is healing. The safety is healing. And I think I'm going to turn this conversation just a little bit with that question.
Go for
I
it.
think that often, once we identify what's going on, once we are like, oh, no wonder I have felt this way for
Hmm.
X amount of time, years, months, or
Hmm.
days,
Hmm.
like it could be anything. No wonder I felt this. I can now put a name to this, this, and this. This is
Hmm.
gaslighting, this is manipulating,
Hmm.
whatever,
Hmm.
all these things. Therefore, this has been abuse. And so I feel this way. At that point of recognition, our goal should be to get to
Hmm.
safety so that we can heal. That
Hmm.
means
Yes.
we've got clarity. We can name it. We've
Yes.
got
Hmm.
clarity. And so
Hmm.
that disengaging, that pulling back emotionally enough to protect ourselves. So that means our own, what will we do? What won't we do? Our own boundaries, not rules for
Hmm.
them, our boundaries
Hmm.
for us,
Hmm. Hmm.
right? Once we do that, we are in a place of safety and we have already begun healing at that point.
Hmm.
Okay.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
and we are more empowered than we think we are. Being with an
Yes.
abuser will whittle you down to
Hmm.
really far. You know this. I know that
Hmm.
so many people know this,
Right.
right? But we have never disappeared. We
No.
have shrunk and we have these layers of protection on us.
Hmm.
And our
Hmm.
job is to peel away those layers and bloom.
Yes.
Still there. It is
Yes.
there. We
It's
can do
just
it.
very deep.
And yes, and it's up to us to do it. And we can use help. We can have friends. We can have coaches. We
Mhm,
can have
mhm,
therapists,
mhm.
whoever we need for help, clergy. There's all kinds of people who can help us.
Yep,
Ultimately, it's
it's
us.
you.
And
Yeah,
we have the power. We have the
yes,
power.
yeah.
Okay.
It's
I just think
it's in
that's
you.
overlooked too much. Yeah, like
A hundred
it's
percent.
tough.
I believe you, right? Because I think that, and that's part of the narcissist mindfuck. They make you think that you're not strong enough, even
Yeah.
though you're there, and
Yes.
it's just the layers of the onion to come out to bloom. I mean, it's
Yeah.
literally that's all it is. And I think that, I mean, I don't want it to sound like it's not a lot of work. It's a lot of freaking work to heal.
Yeah.
It's a
Yeah,
lot
so
of work, and it
the
catches you.
process, yeah, the process is simple. It is peeling back the
Yeah.
layers and blooming,
Yeah.
but it's not easy. And so if
No.
we make that distinction and we say
Hmm.
part of the clarity is so part of it is naming what's gone on, but the other
Yeah.
part of the clarity is seeing the truth that we're in charge of us and
Yes.
accepting that. And when
Yes.
we accept that, nobody else has power over us anymore at
Yeah.
that point.
Taking a quick break from our podcast to let you know about today's sponsors. Feeling overwhelmed by anxiety? Does it have you overthinking, second guessing yourself, or constantly on edge? Meet eye care, a 14-day experience designed to help you understand your anxiety patterns and practice simple, evidence based tools that fit into real life. Each day includes a quick exercise, practical insights, and AI guided reflection. Start your free 3-day trial at icare.app to discover a different way to work with anxiety, helping you build greater calm and confidence day by day. If perimenopause has your muscles aching, your stress levels climbing, or your nervous system feeling like it's working overtime, check out the Happy Cannabis. Their THC free, plant powered CBD body oils, sugar scrubs, and goat milk soaps are designed to support everyday wellness and help you unwind naturally. Use code BMD20 to save 20% on your order and give your body a little extra love. And now back to our episode. 100%. And one of the things I think that is really important, and I think that for, I would say my younger kid generation, there is this pop culture around narcissism. I think because, they're a narc, or, oh, don't gaslight me. Oh,
Yeah.
don't do this. I think that's invaded with social media. I think there is a bloom of narcissistic personalities as a result of that. I mean, how could it not? It was built by a bunch of narcissists,
Yeah.
but that's a whole other conversation. But I think that we have to be careful of what we label as narcissism.
A
That's not to
hundred
say that
percent.
you're not abused, like, or
Yeah.
that somebody didn't hurt your feelings. And I think that's the thing that narcissists also do,
Yeah.
is they make you think that when someone is acting normally, and I say that very loosely, acting normally in a relationship or holding you accountable for certain things, that that's abusive.
Yeah.
Not the that they do, but that that's abusive. And they flip it and they turn it around. And so it's like, I've never really been boating, but it's like getting your bearings, like figuring out, okay, this is what's going on. This is the lay of the land. That over there is homeland. This is where I need to go. That's the island that I need to point to.
Mhm.
And they're directing you over here. They're trying to get you into the
Yeah.
Bermuda Triangle right here. They're like, here, come over here. It's
Yep.
okay. It's like you're walking in the desert and you see all of these things pop up where you just have to go straight through. And like you said, you have it in you. I
Yeah.
think that's the really, really important thing.
Yeah,
Um,
and you mentioned the labels. Like the labels
yes,
actually, in the end, I mean, they matter as far as us having clarity. But when we
yes,
continue to label, and we could, like you said, just because somebody's not a narcissist doesn't mean they're not an abuser. But
yes,
if we whittle that all the way down to, what is the intention? Is this person is trying to control me? Then sure, I can call it narcissistic. I can call it whatever.
right.
I just know I need to get safe from that. But if
Yes,
somebody is making a mistake, that's an entirely different
right,
thing. That
right.
is being human.
Totally.
And
Yes,
so, imperfect parents, imperfect friends, imperfect
right,
bosses. Like we
right,
can go
right.
anywhere. If we can have a relational conversation with someone when they've hurt
Yes,
us, if they
yeah,
stop hurting us once we
yes,
tell them, that's not
yes,
abuse. That's not
right. No,
narcissistic.
it's
Okay, yeah.
not. Yeah, I think that's really important to say because what narcissists do is if you say, here's your boundary, they go, oh, that's your boundary? And they
Yeah.
jump right over it. And I think if someone really loves you, if someone really values you as an employee,
Yeah.
if someone values your friendship, and you say, okay, this is a boundary. This is not, or someone is really professional. I don't want you to cross this.
Mhm.
They say, okay, great. That's your boundary. Let me take a couple steps back. I'm
Yeah.
back here. And that I think is really important. Now, what I will say as a parent with my daughter, who is 30, is she is like the mastery boundary maker. I don't know
Mhm.
where she got it from, because I didn't have any and I just let
Mhm.
it run over all over me. But she's really good about that. She's like, okay, I'm overwhelmed. If we're in a situation, we're going through something, if we're having a conversation, she'll say, can we pause on the conversation? I'm overwhelmed. Let's come back to it, but let's put a pin in it. And I'm like, damn, she's really an adult. I
Amazing.
think of her a little teeny tiny baby always, but I was like,
Wow.
dang, that's an adult move. And she, we when she was 17 and 18, probably 16, she didn't say nice things to me. I
Yeah.
think, some of it is being a teenager and developmentally, they're supposed to act like that.
Hmm.
I mean, it's, every psychological book says it. They're supposed to act this way. They're supposed to challenge that stuff because with you, they're learning
Yep.
what is right and what is not right. Um, and she said some crazy things to me where I was like, no, that's not no, we're not doing that. And the growth from that 16-year-old to now 30, it's tremendous.
Wow.
And that I think is a really important thing is your parent might seem like they're being mean when they're saying, hey, be
Hmm.
home by 11 p.m. And there are multiple things that layer up into that.
Yeah.
There, is legal responsibility because you're under 18. There is,
There's so much.
hello, you're, 16. You can't be out past 11 o'clock because that's dangerous, all those things.
Uh,
And I think there is this thought process. And I saw it with a lot of my daughter's friends where they were like, well, my parents being, unreasonable or they're being narcissists. I was like, no, that's not a narcissist. Let me tell you the things that I experience. And they're like, oh, my parents are not like that at all. I
Yeah.
was like, then they're not a narcissist. They're
Yeah.
just,
Their
maybe
parents.
strict parents. Yeah. Right. And what I want to say is that's not um to say that maybe something that one of someone's parents did wasn't like something that you liked. And you can take that to them. And we actually interviewed a parent who is no contact with two of her kids. She is not a narcissist. She's been to therapy, asked to be diagnosed, and she labels herself as an emotionally immature parent. And it'll be out on an episode. But what she says is, the biggest thing that you can tell, let's say, with a parent who maybe didn't have all the tools, like y'all don't come with a manual,
No,
right?
nobody
There's no
does.
book, right? No one does, but, and, well, not but, and we make mistakes.
Yeah.
And sometimes, like for me, I was younger, so maybe I was emotionally immature. She made me mature real fast, but I was like in the very beginning. And this person said that, and she said, what she says the difference between her and, let's say, a narcissist is if one of her children comes to her, or if like she'll talk about her kids on her podcast, she'll say, I hurt them.
Mhm.
I hurt them. And I'm taking responsibility of that. My intention wasn't to hurt them, but the intention
Yeah.
doesn't matter.
Yeah.
The intent doesn't matter. It was the impact of what I did. And for that impact and for doing it, I am incredibly sorry.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah. I
think
love
that's a
that.
big thing. Now,
Yeah.
now, if a parent can't do that and they're like, fuck you, go, what, blah, 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 then they're a narcissist. Like,
Yeah.
and take your time, separate for a little bit. Or if, like, for me, you need more time, then, do that. But for me, I don't think I'll ever go back.
Yeah.
And that's a hard thing to work through as an only child because I think
Yeah.
of
That's a
my
loss.
parents aging and all that stuff. And I jokingly talked about perimenopause earlier. And, my mother-in-law is amazing in my chosen family, but she wasn't helpful when I talked about perimenopause. She just said, I just got hot and cold. I was like, come on, woman. So it's not quite the same,
Yeah.
but I'm incredibly blessed that I do have that.
Yeah.
And I do want to say too that the healing community, which you are a part of, the healers, the coaches, they have been instrumental in helping, not just the Instagrams or the TikToks or the Facebooks, but it's like being able to talk to them in these settings. That's really important. And my hope is that people who listen get to hear it and send us questions. Like we'll either set you up for time with us or we'll say, oh yeah, we can answer that really quick.
Yeah.
We don't shy away from questions. So definitely do that. Is there some misconceptions that you see that people have about healing from narcissistic abuse that you've experienced?
Well, let me think. That's a good question. I I think, like you said, we don't ever really get healed. I mean, I'll challenge that just a little bit. We can I think there is a misconception that we're damaged, and I just don't think we are
Mm-mm.
really damaged. I think
Mm-mm.
that we like everybody on this planet,
Yes.
everybody has had
Hmm.
pain
Hmm.
due to somebody else's choices,
Hmm.
whether they're intentional, whether they're self-serving for that person, or whether they're accidental.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
and what we do with it, like that's an opportunity for growth, which is
Yes.
the healing. And
Yes.
and I think that like I'm just going to jump back on that bandwagon of we have the power to heal. We have the resources. In this day and age, there
Hmm.
are resources everywhere. Now you get,
Hmm.
like you said, we've got an entire, like a giant array of
Hmm.
choices of
Hmm.
what resources we're going to use.
Hmm.
And need to look at it and say, does this fit me in my
Hmm.
situation now? And what's going to work. So perhaps the biggest misconception I would say is that I can't heal. I'm too damaged. They did so much harm to me. That's choosing victimhood, and
Yes.
none
No,
of us have to be there.
no. I think that's the biggest thing that I would say in regards to when people listen to these podcasts is just because it happened to you doesn't mean that you're a victim.
Yeah.
These
You were
people are
victimized for sure.
predators.
Yeah, you
Yes,
were
you were
victimized.
victimized. Yes,
Mhm.
but you are not a victim. You are a survivor. And these people are freaking predators.
Yeah.
Like all of the documentaries that are out right now, and you watch, oh, they did this and they did this. They're scanning for people to do this to. And, one of the things that we tell our girls is don't be nice, be kind. Kind
Yeah.
has
Oh, I
boundaries,
love that.
nice is a people pleaser,
Yeah,
right?
love it.
And so we say that because that helps them with that mind switch, right? To
Mhm.
say, I'm going to be kind and this is a boundary. And you can have boundaries.
Yeah.
And if you think that your boundary, like you want to talk about your boundary, let's have a conversation about it
Yeah.
because we can help you figure out what's best for you.
Yeah.
And, I think that is really, really important. Some of the other work, and we'll touch about on it a little bit, is you've been trained with high conflict divorces and mediation. We have done the same work. We do mediation in we decided to steer away from divorces for right now and focus on mediation inside companies. And I think that there is a misnomer when it comes to this is that divorce has to be messy.
Yeah.
And it totally doesn't. Like
Yeah.
it can be real simple. And I whenever I think about this, I say that yes, you and your ex didn't work out. He sucks or she sucks, right?
Yeah.
Whatever. But what you have is if there is this high conflict divorce, most of the time it centers around co parenting with another person.
Mhm. Mhm.
It's and narcissistic tendencies come out. If you're dealing with a narcissist, that's a whole nother issue. But
Mhm.
oftentimes you're only dealing with narcissistic tendencies.
Mhm.
And if you are, I would say to all the narcissistic tendency people, love your kids more than you love yourself.
Yeah, if only we could
Yeah.
make
Yes.
them do
Yes, I
that.
know. If I could sprinkle that all over the place, because I, and here's a really like a good, like, side by side. So my parents got divorced. I think I was about 15. My husband's parents got divorced and he was about 3 or 4.
Mhm.
So we're around the same age. And my mother cannot be in the same room with my father. It's crazy. 15 years ago, they were together, or maybe about 10 years ago, they were together 10, 12 years ago. They were together in the same room for my daughter's graduation.
Mm.
And the venom my mom was pointing at
Oh,
him, it was crazy. Both of them remarried, had their own families at that point. I was like, uh,
yeah.
what? And I basically said, knock your shit off. This is not about, and I
Yeah.
wasn't pointing at my dad because he's actually pretty chill about that. I'm like, this isn't about you. This is about your granddaughter. And if you can't deal with that, go somewhere
Yeah.
else.
Yeah.
And so I think it was about 2 hours she could behave. That was it. Just 2 hours, right? Whereas there is my mother-in-law, her husband, so my husband's stepfather
Mhm.
and her husband, and we actually, and her and his dad, we
Yeah.
actually just celebrated my bonus son's 15th birthday. And we had the two of them, well, his mom, his dad, his stepdad, his
Mhm.
sister, and my daughter all on the phone so we could all sing happy birthday.
Nice.
And
Yeah.
they all knew about it. And they didn't care
And it was
because
great.
they love him. And
Yeah.
that's it. You don't have to be best friends with them, but
Yeah.
just
Put the
because
child first. Yep.
I think one of the things that people don't really think about is when you do that, and then I'll get off my soapbox. When you show how much you hate the other person, you are making it okay for your kids to hate themselves because
Yeah.
they're half of that person.
Yeah. That's so sad, isn't it?
Yeah, it's incredibly sad. So love your kids more than you hate your ex. That's all I
Yeah,
can say.
that's such a good phrase. Yeah.
Yeah, that's all I could say. When we were speaking earlier, you were talking about some of the work that you're doing with your production company. And I would love for you to talk to me a little bit about what inspired you to create a production company. What is your current projects, and what kind of projects are you looking to like continue doing?
Oh, okay. Well, so I work mostly with women in my coaching
Mm-hmm,
business. I do
hmm
work with some men, but
hmm
I also have I come from a large family. I'm number three of six
Oh
children,
wow.
and
Okay.
I have two sisters. I'm in the middle of those two sisters.
Oh
We're all
wow.
older.
Okay.
So so that's kind of the background of the
hmm
foundation of this. But this
hmm
is I wanted to create a series that
hmm
has to do with older women. I think
Oh
that's kind
cool.
of a forgotten group of people as far as
Yes.
entertainment targeting them, right?
Yes. I agree.
The entertainment that's targeted towards them is not stuff that I watch. And I'm in that
That's
age group.
fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
So,
fair.
I created a show called Sisters Not Saints. It's a web series that's going to
I
premiere on
love
YouTube
it.
probably after this podcast airs.
Okay.
But
We'll make
it's
sure to
about
link to it.
okay, it's about these three older sisters,
hmm
loosely based on my family, who come together when their dad dies, the last surviving parent dies. And so they come and figure out how to navigate adult sibling relationships. So
I
the
love it.
relationship thing is pretty, it's pretty fun at that.
Yeah,
It's funny, it's emotional.
I
They
love it.
fall back into their childhood roles, the oldest, the middle, the youngest,
Yeah, yeah.
and all of that stuff. So I created it because I'm a creator and it's fun and I love it, but also because I see it as a way, the story is meant to entertain, but
hmm
more than
hmm
that, it's meant to be relatable. We need people,
hmm
experiences, stories that we can relate to so that we can have an outlet for a release for our own emotions.
Yes.
This is normal, or oh, this is extreme. I'm extreme too, whatever
hmm
it is.
hmm
So I had
hmm
to create a production company to house that.
Yeah,
And I
yeah.
created Eat More Chocolate Productions because I couldn't
Oh
think
my
of
God, I
anything
love it.
more
I love
wonderful.
it.
Thank you.
I love it.
I've been releasing teasers and mini trailers for the
Oh, that's
series.
so
So those are
awesome.
out there. I'll give you the link for that.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I feel like this is like kind of a natural
hmm
turn and twist for what I've been doing. I've been
Yeah,
working with women, a lot of them older, by the way, older women who are like excited about life, even in their, 60s, 70s, and
yeah,
80s,
yeah.
while they've gotten to this state of
Yep.
consistent healing, right? Daily
Yes.
healing.
Yes. One of the things that I have discovered about perimenopause is that we don't care club is real, right?
It's absolutely
We,
real. Mhm.
because that is for me, I probably was in perimenopause before, but it was like
The
maybe 10
early,
years ago but I haven't had an experience like the anxiety or the hot flashes or anything like that, or the sleep. The sleep was the worst
yeah.
until about 2 years ago. And so, but what I did have at that age was like I don't fucking care what anyone thinks about me.
Yeah.
I really don't. I really don't. And that is a really important thing. And it's important. It's important. And also with that great power, there's like great responsibility
Yeah.
like, quote my son's favorite superhero, Spider-Man. I mean, there's real
Yeah.
truth to that. And, there's a lot of cultures that hold up older women
Mhm.
as those wise, like
Yeah.
women to go to. Our culture, not so much, but that's okay. We can bring it back to where
We
it
can
needs to
and
be.
we should. There's a reason why
Yes.
the older cultures do that. It's because we do all of us individually, and
Mhm.
then we look collectively,
Yep.
we gain in wisdom as we have life
Oh,
experience. And this
100%.
we need people. We should be
Yeah.
interconnected.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
all of us.
Well, and there's that phrase, right? Wisdom is waste. What is it like?
It was
Oh,
wasted
you.
on the youth.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wisdom was wasted on the youth. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Because like if I knew what I knew now about everything that in my life and took it back to 18-year-old me, oh my God, I would be like totally different. The decisions I make, all
Yeah.
that stuff. And what people don't understand is they have that in their matriarchs and their patriarchs. Like, I think that is a really
They
important
have
thing.
access to that if they would
Yes.
just tap into it.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
even if they're not your mother or your father, they're an uncle, they're a tia, they're a tio, they're a cousin, they're a neighbor,
Yeah.
anyone, just talking to them for like 20 minutes is a really amazing thing to sit and hear some of those stories. And I think that, it's something that we've forgotten. And it's a part of the holistic body
Yes,
too. It's a
absolutely.
part of that whole thing because everything is born and everything dies. And
Yep.
there's all the things in between. So I think that is a
Yeah.
really, really important thing.
Yeah.
Um,
I
and
read
I'm
a study
oh,
recently that
yeah,
people 64 and older are the happiest. Generally speaking, they've done a
yeah,
study.
I would assume so.
Oh, yeah, but then you ask why, like because the men have lost their hair, the women now
Yeah.
have belly rolls where they
Yeah,
didn't
yeah,
have, like all of these things.
yeah,
Why the
yeah,
children have left home? Why are
yeah,
they so happy? They
yeah,
figured out a little
yeah.
bit more about living joyfully. Like that's it. So
Yes,
tap into it. Ask them.
yes,
Come,
yes.
become
Because
connected with them.
yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's really important. And I'm going to put a pin in our conversation in regards to family court and narcissism because I'm going to have a whole like episode on that. And so
Okay.
I really want to like I have a couple people in mind. So I think that we will have a really great conversation about family court, which I think is a really broken system right now. If I
Yes.
can say that,
Yeah.
really clearly, it's really really broken, and it's not made for the kids, which is
I
what it was there to be
know.
made for. It's made for parents
Right.
and highly litigating parents.
I
So,
know it
so we'll
is.
have a whole other conversation about that. um, one of the things that survivors I often hear about it, or I often hear, and I'm sure you do too, besides that, when am I going to be healed, is I don't know who I am anymore. So
Mm.
how do you begin to rebuild that identity after you've, gone down to zero and seen that, that little powerful you? How do you start to rebuild that identity?
I love that question because this is the exciting part about healing.
Hmm.
I love this. And Shannon Thomas, in her book, Healing from Hidden Abuse, talks about this. And I hope I quoted the right person, but I hope I'm quoting the right person. But she talks about this being one of the stages of healing is that rediscovery. But for so many, because they were in an abusive relationship without knowing it from the time they were much younger, right?
Hmm.
It's actual discovery. It's not even a rediscovery. Who am I?
Hmm. Hmm.
Not just who was I and how can I reclaim that, but who am I? And
Hmm. Hmm.
that's exciting because you're now somebody who can take complete ownership.
Hmm.
You are autonomous. Your agency is fully intact. You
Hmm.
get to choose. And so as you discover, I really didn't realize that I love squirrels. Like, I mean, it could be anything. It just
Right,
doesn't
right.
matter. But I'm going to sit here and watch the squirrels jump from limb to limb on that tree, and I get so much like just grounding enjoyment out of that as I sit
Yeah,
on grass and feel the like I'm just making this up. This is not me, but I'm saying that we don't know. Every one of
right.
us has a part of us inside that we either
Mhm.
haven't discovered yet or we feel like we lost and we're rediscovering it.
Right,
How do you
right,
do that? You start to trust yourself and just explore and look forward, plan to look forward every day to it being a day of anticipation and discovery.
right. So one of the things when you were talking about that is it reminded me of this guest we had. Her name is Laura Richards, and she does another podcast. This is where our something I'll put it in the show notes. This is where I'm at, I think is what it's called. And she said one of the first things that I did when she left her narcissistic husband, and she was married for 30 years, 32 years to be exact, was have coffee in bed. She said,
You found
I
her comfort
yeah.
there.
Yeah. She said, I was never able to do it before, but this is who I am. That's what she said.
Wow.
I am going to rest and have coffee in bed and, mull over the day and then go. I don't have to rush. I don't have to be go, go, go all the time. And I was like, that is a really beautiful thing. And so every now and then you'll see a picture of her on social media with her and a donut with coffee in bed or a cookie with or a muffin. And
Love it.
it cracks me up every time I see it.
I love
Um,
that. That taps into something that's really important when rediscovering ourselves. Routine is important. So whatever
Yes.
that routine is, we figure out some kind of a routine that we can be comfortable in that's a healthy routine, as
Right.
opposed to, our previous comfort zone of, that hypervigilance, that
Yes.
frenetic energy. Like we
Right.
instead create our own comfortable routine,
Yeah.
which allows those thoughts to come in and those,
Yes.
those dreams and those hopes.
Well, and I think that what's really helpful too when we talk about routine, because I'll talk about it on the other side, is as you begin your healing, the routine keeps you going. It
Mm,
keeps you doing the things that you need to do
yeah.
because routines are, if you're doing your routine, it's basic. Like for me, I'm very routine oriented. I wake up in the morning, I take a shower.
Mhm.
While I've started to understand my healing more, I spend more time in bed before I take the shower now.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
feel like I have to get up and go and go and go and go. I'm not in a relationship where that is seen. Like it is
Yeah.
okay to chill in bed for a little bit.
I
Like
love it.
it's not a bad thing. And so that's the what see in my healing. And I know a lot of people do. You know, if you are just at the beginning of your healing journey, take a cup of coffee to bed. Really,
Yeah.
like really
Anything.
do the Laura Richards thing. Take a cup of
Yeah. Do
coffee to
the
bed
Laura
and really
Richards
think
thing.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, and
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 just
there
think.
is one other thing that's so important and free and takes no, if you're still
Mhm.
with your abuser, like they aren't even going to know. You just
Yeah.
breathe. You do intentional breathing
Yes.
before you get out of
Yes.
bed, before you go to sleep. Some
Right.
intentional breathing.
Well, and I think for me, when because I'm a glutton for punishment. So I'm always in high conflict situations with the work that we're doing or, with the podcast. Not that this is a bad conversation, but it's just like there's a
Yeah,
lot of pressure that I put on myself. So I often take a pause and breathe. The reason why is because pause is not as long as you think that it is. It
yeah,
really isn't. And you need to breathe to get oxygen to your brain.
we
It's
need
just
it.
it's the way humans are. And so I that is like one of the best tips. And
Yeah,
we're gonna do a couple of we'll do a couple of Instagram posts. You and I will do some and we'll just put it up so y'all know it's breathing. Like this is what you need to
yeah,
do. You need to breathe.
yeah.
I always close with the same question. And I think that really centers it around the survivors and those people are healing. But what's one thing that you want or hope every survivor of narcissistic abuse eventually learns to believe about themselves?
Just believe in your own power, your own divinity, really. Like whatever your faith belief
Hmm.
or lack of faith
Hmm.
belief
Hmm.
is,
Hmm.
you
Hmm.
have a you have a soul. Like
Hmm.
believe that you exist. And
Hmm.
and in that existence, you have the power to choose to
Hmm.
be whoever you want to be, however you want to be that you've got that power, so claim it.
Hmm. And I'll even take it a step further. It doesn't matter what faith you are, but you have the agency. Everyone has agency.
Yeah.
Everyone does. And from that agency, you get to choose where you get to go. And so, we believe in you. So if you need a pocket knowing Lonnie, just put us in your pocket. Just put us right in there with your phone and just boom, right there. We'll be there
Yes.
for you to listen to us.
I love
Um,
that.
so tell me how they can find you, and then we'll make sure to put it in the show notes. But tell us about your production company, where they can watch the series and the clips, also your website, and then your social media. And that way, we'll also put in the show notes if they don't hear it.
Okay. So they're going to find me at Holistic Recovery the easiest through your show notes because it's a
Okay.
long name. It's
Yeah,
Holistic
yeah, yeah,
Recovery from Narcissistic Abuse and Betrayal Trauma. It's really long because I wanted
yeah,
to
yeah,
have it all,
yeah,
right? So
yeah.
they'll
Fair,
find me
fair.
through your show notes there. And I'm
Hmm.
Coach Denalee. If you just Google me,
Hmm. You'll
you'll
find her.
find me.
Yeah.
But the production company is new enough where I'll just throw
Okay.
it out there. It's Eat More Chocolate Productions. So on YouTube, it's just at Eat More Chocolate Productions. That's where you'll find
Oh,
me. On
okay.
all the other social media, it's shortened. Eat More Chalk, CHOC.
Oh,
That's it. At Eat More
perfect.
Chalk. You can find me everywhere on that. Yeah.
Perfect. All right. Dinley, thank you so much for being with me today. I really appreciate it. I know that we planned this a couple months out, but I really appreciate your honesty, your vulnerability. I appreciate you. I appreciate your amazing hair. I appreciate everything. So
Thank you. You do good work.
yeah.
Thank you. It's been a
Oh,
pleasure
thank
to talk
you.
with
It's
you.
it's been fantastic. Thank you so much. A huge thank you to Coach Denalee for sharing her wisdom and reminding us that healing isn't always about becoming someone new. It's about reconnecting with who you've always been. If today's conversation encouraged you, I hope you'll carry that reminder with you this week. You are capable of healing and you deserve to feel safe, whole, and at peace. Thank you for listening to the Beyond Mommy Dearest podcast. If this episode resonated with you, please subscribe to the podcast, leave a 5-star review, and share it with someone who could use a little hope today. To learn more about coaching, upcoming events, and our growing community, visit the links in the show notes. Until next time, keep choosing yourself, keep healing, and remember, you are worthy of love, peace, and a life beyond survival.
Your skin is a part of your nervous system, and taking care of it is essential to overall balance. Our products are specifically formulated to nourish your skin and bring you closer to homeostasis with every use. Start feeling better in your body today with the Happy Cannabis.